Amy Diggs, and we are here in Collinsville, Connecticut at Riverside Nursery, where I work and where we've shot some videos. And it's leading up to Valentine's Day, so we wanted to do a video today about how to talk to a florist.
Yeah, it's sort of one of those things that I think people don't always have the words to talk to them and don't really understand what to ask for and what's available. And I think it's just it helps to kind of
instead of just calling up and saying, make me something pretty, maybe we can give you some adjectives. And our florist, we have several florists here who are amazing. And we're going to talk to one today, Jackie, who's a really good friend of mine. So I'm looking forward to introducing you. So we're here at Riverside Nursery, and we're here during the winter break. I'm actually not working right now, but I'm here with florist Jackie, who is one of my favorite coworkers, and she's incredibly, incredibly talented. So I wanted to pick her brain today about how to talk to a florist. If you're calling up, I mean, it sounds like a very simple thing, but if you're calling up on the phone to place an order, what are some things that you should be prepared for to be asked? Things like, I would say probably budget, how much do you want to spend, what kind of container, and sort of the look you're going for. And I think that look issue is probably the most complicated. So
people have a lot of different, like styles and a lot of things that, they like and they don't like. And so, some of the most common questions that I tend to ask people are like, do you have a specific color scheme that you want to go with? Do you have a size in mind? Did you want it to be for a table centerpiece? Do you want it to be taller and grander? So those are some general questions that kind of narrow down what people are kind of trying to get and to order. So we actually have an order form that we have printed out. So we go through, all of the questions basically for every order.
It'll take you through a set of questions, and one of the first things you want to know is it for an occasion? is it people usually say it's for a funeral, it's for a birthday, but if they don't, it's good to kind of get a sense of
just
that.
Because do you want it? So part of why people love flowers, right, is because flowers can communicate with the recipient, right? So if you send a really colorful, really bright arrangement, it's communicating like joy and happiness and a lot of different things. So definitely we try and cater each arrangement to have a message, right? So, some people with sympathy flowers, for example, because that's just an easy one. I would say 50% of people with sympathy flowers want to send, something muted or whites and greens or something soothing, and then the other 50% want to send something really bright and something to celebrate. Celebrate the life of that person. So it's really depends on the individual. So having an idea in your head about kind of what the overall message that you want to send to the recipient.
And you can also, I know sometimes you'll say, send me an inspiration photo.
Absolutely.
So somebody could email you a picture of something they saw that they loved.
Absolutely.
But one thing I wanted to say about Riverside, and we talk about this all the time, is that you guys do custom arrangements. And talk a little bit about, people just think, well, I'm going to call up or go online to 1-800-Flowers, and I'm just going to order flowers and have them sent. What's the difference, or what's between Riverside and something like that?
So I would say really the difference is going to be in the quality and the freshness of our product, the uniqueness of our product. We order fresh. I mean, I get flowers in almost daily.
In fact, sometimes more than once a day.
Yeah, exactly. So what sets us apart from your grocery stores or your larger kind of chains like 1-800-Flowers or whatever, online supply ordering sort of thing, is the quality. You have the knowledge of a florist. When you shop small, when you shop at a small local florist, you're paying for the wisdom of me going online and knowing exactly which varieties to order, which varieties hold up the longest, what has sturdier stems, what's not going to break. So you're kind
and
of
your creativity, your artistic sensibility. Because I think with those like 1-800-Flowers and those, not to throw them under the bus, but just as an example, they will create a template, and then you're ordering that exact thing. So even if, for example, the roses aren't that fresh, they're going to make it to because that's the Island Paradise bouquet,
Right.
for example.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you know what you have, you know what you can get.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if people say, oh my gosh, my girlfriend loves freesia,
Yeah.
because it's so fragrant. If you don't know freesia,
Delicious.
yeah, exactly. So you'll be able to say, I don't have it in stock, but if I can have till tomorrow,
I can sometimes get it.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of same day orders. So people often will call in the morning and ask for a delivery to be sent out in the afternoon. And that's totally doable. A lot of times I have to help people kind of temper their expectations for same day deliveries because like I said, we are a small, local, family owned operation here, and there's only so many coolers that we can have full of flowers. So sometimes people will call and ask for something really specific, like I want yellow lilies and white roses.
Right.
And on any given day of the week, I might have one of those things. I might have both of those things. I might have neither of those things. So it is hard sometimes to help people understand that, I could have done that for you if you gave me an extra day.
It's a flexibility.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, again, as you said, trusting your artistic sensibility is helpful, and it means you can choose, as you said, what's best, what's freshest.
Right. Yeah.
And then as far as delivery, like I think most people probably imagine calling up and I need flowers delivered to my girlfriend or whatever. How does that usually work? I mean, do we deliver just in, what's the radius? And
local. We try and keep it fairly local.
And you'll pay a delivery fee.
Yes. Yeah. There's a delivery fee here. And then there's also a minimum for delivery.
Yeah. And so an option might be like if you want to spend, $35 or $40, that might not meet the minimum for delivery, but you could say to the customer, hey, if you come in and pick it up,
absolutely,
we can either do it in a vase or a wrap. What's a wrap? What's the difference?
So we often offer a vase or a wrapped bouquet. A wrapped bouquet is essentially the same flowers that you can get in a vase, but instead of adding the extra cost of the vessel, you are wrapping it up, with paper. We sometimes add like a little, like the colorful tissue paper around it and a bow if you want that. So it's like a presentation bouquet instead of something that's in a vase. So if your recipient has a vase, then it makes sense.
Like Grandma Sophie probably has a bunch of vases at her house, and so she may not need another vase that to put it in her closet.
For sure, I for sure have a collection at home.
Exactly. Exactly. So Jackie, let's talk a little bit more about if I'm a customer and I know I want something beautiful, but I don't know flowers. I really don't know what I want. How do I talk to you? How do I convey to you? What are words? Give me words.
Yeah. So a lot of times I'll ask people what kind of style they want their arrangement to kind of be in. We do a wide variety of arrangement types here, styles. So something like gardeny, you're going to get a looser bouquet that's maybe a little asymmetrical. It's not going to be super tight and formal. And then also on the other end of the spectrum, we also can do something super formal or traditional that's a little bit tighter, as I guess that's a
and
good
maybe
descriptor.
different flowers, so like more like big roses and things like that. And if I don't, if there are things like I hate yellow, I don't, but let's say I do, can I say that to you? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know if she likes yellow, but I don't, and so I don't want you to, so I can say stuff like that.
Absolutely. So traditionally, I will also, when I'm on the phone with a customer, I'll ask them, is there a specific flower that you're looking for? Or are there certain things that you absolutely want to leave out? For some people, like the smell of lilies, they just cannot handle in their house. I personally love them, but that's okay.
I actually remember an order that you guys took over the summer, somebody calling up and saying, I want a bouquet of flowers that has no fragrance. Like, I don't want any fragrance. And I thought, okay, how are you going to? But I mean, some people are highly sensitive.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I try and kind of flesh out exactly what the customer is looking for by asking those kind of prompting questions. So if you don't know the names of flowers and you don't know, exactly what you're ordering, you're still going to get a beautiful arrangement that you want and that you like. So it's really important to kind of spend that time and kind of help people figure out what they want.
So you can say like hot colors, like oranges, reds. You can say pastels. You can say, you said gardening, which I like. I mean, the idea of something you would cut you'd cut from the garden.
Out in the yard,
Yeah.
something that you kind of throw together. It's more informal look. Exactly.
Yeah. And so those, I think having some words like that, and again, sending that inspiration picture.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an email dedicated here to the Florist shop. So if, people are ever stumped and they can't really find the descriptors that they're looking for, we take a lot of images in as well to help
Of
us.
things that we have created so people can, in the past.
Oh,
Is that
both
what it
ways.
is? Okay.
Both ways, actually. Yeah. So we'll send some photos, that
Okay.
of arrangements that we've done in the past to give people kind of a direction. Pick one, gardening or
Yeah.
formal.
Yeah.
But also, I think probably more frequently we get people who send us photos of something that they've seen online,
Right.
and that they want us to kind of replicate.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do both ways.
Yeah.
I would say.
And I know too that, certainly with gardens outside, and I know today seasonality is sort of it's a word that a lot of people use, meaning wanting to use things that are in season instead of something
Yeah.
exotic, I guess.
Yeah. So that's something that I definitely can get behind. Something that I think that creates maybe an air of authenticity to an arrangement when you order it. It's like especially if you're going for that kind of garden style. So things like, a lot of times people, especially around the holidays, people will ask for these more specialty flowers. For example, peonies come to mind. Now,
Those
peonies,
big, gorgeous, blousy, they're like
beautiful.
everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
flower.
everyone, definitely. Peonies really have a very strict season.
Right.
So they bloom in the spring, and we get beautiful peonies, cut peonies around that time,
Right.
spring into early summer.
Yeah. When they're kind of blooming.
Yeah. So we get those, and they're beautiful that time of year. Now, when people want those things in the winter, I sometimes, I try to steer them away from that. And it's not because I can't get them. It's not because I, don't want them to have what they want.
Right.
It's because they're usually small, they're usually poor
Right.
quality, and they're usually more expensive.
More expensive.
So when
There you
you
go.
call a florist and you're asking for those peonies, and I say, they're not really in season right now, and then you say, well, I'm going to see if I can find them elsewhere. Chances are you might, but chances are you're also going to be maybe disappointed.
Right, which is why trust
Yeah.
the florist, and I think that's why, instead of going with one of these companies where it's just somebody on the phone taking an order, you're actually speaking to the person who's going to do it, who's going to put
Yeah.
the arrangement together. So there's no middleman,
Right.
and you just, I think, can communicate
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
I think too that you can describe the person it's going to, like, oh my gosh, my grandma, everything in her house is blue, so maybe we could do blue and white. Like,
Yeah.
thinking that way about the recipient, I think
Yeah,
also
absolutely, definitely.
it's a big help.
And I think, using, like we talked about, describing the style that you want, you can really describe, I think, the person, that the recipient,
Yeah.
like you were just saying, like, we can get a really good idea, oh, she's wild, she's like so unique, she's got such a weird, eclectic taste.
Yeah.
Like, we got you.
Exactly. We can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
And
Yeah,
actually,
it's so
sometimes
fun.
those are the most fun orders. When I don't
Absolutely.
care, but something really quirky and fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, one reason that we're doing this video now, in early February, is that Valentine's Day is coming up,
I
and that's
know,
probably, I mean, you guys must just be
Crazy.
overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy busy
But it's
time.
really fun.
Yeah. I mean, this place will be full of flowers. It'll be, I have, I don't know, over 1,000 red roses coming. It's going to be insane. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And so is Valentine's Day different in any way for people placing orders, or should their expectations be different?
Not necessarily. I mean, we appreciate a couple days
Yeah.
notice. I would say, around Valentine's Day, it's a holiday that's hard for florists to kind of nail down
Yeah.
how many dozens of roses they're going to sell.
Especially
So-
with COVID these last few years, was it more or less?
Oh man, it's been crazy. The last 2 Valentine's Days have been wild, right? Hard to get things,
Mhm.
and then people, like, the demand has been so high.
Right.
So I would say that the thing that I caution people is, when you walk in here Valentine's Day of,
Right.
and then you want a dozen red roses, there's not necessarily going to be a guarantee that you're going to get that if you haven't placed your order ahead of time. So I do encourage people on holiday weeks or whatever to definitely try and get your order in early.
Pre-order.
Yeah.
Which is, and that's a great thing. And I know, I mean, obviously not us, but I know that there are some, you hear about these scams where people are being charged 3 times as much for flowers on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
For example, just because they know they can get it. And it's just something we hear about this and it makes us crazy because our flower prices are
the same.
They're the same.
Yeah, I mean, like we touched a little bit on the seasonality, and prices do fluctuate based on when things are available naturally. But there are some staples that we get in every week, every single week of the year that really don't change in price all that much. And one of those things is red roses and roses in general. We just try to price our stuff accordingly,
consistently. Yeah. So for Valentine's Day, let's say again, the boyfriend calls and says, "Oh, I want to send my girlfriend a dozen red roses with baby's breath."
Yeah.
And that's fine, right? That's classic. It's classic. But what are some other options? If you wanted to get like wild and crazy, what else could?
I mean, I think the dozen red definitely is classic. We do a lot of dozens of roses in other colors as well, pinks and whites, and those are
kind of less committed.
Yeah.
And yellow means friendship.
Oh, ooh.
So that could be like, that could be bad.
Yeah,
I'm just
but saying. We'll have a whole selection of roses available, and then a lot of people will do, they'll take the classic dozen red, and then they'll modernize it, right? Do it in a different vessel. So instead of that traditional like tall base of a dozen roses, maybe you want it in a centerpiece, and so you would get like a very formal kind of looking arrangement. Or you can enhance it. So instead of just doing a dozen red roses with some greens in a vase and that sort of thing, you can add accent flowers, something to go with it. There's definitely a lot of things that if you ask your florist, they can take it to another level. So I would say definitely if you're willing and if you're interested in maybe stepping up your game, just ask, just ask.
Yeah. And I think, Valentine's Day around here is it's so festive and so much fun. And so I know you're looking forward to it, but also kind of burning yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely trying to get prepared.
Jackie, thank you so much. And I hope that just learning how to talk to these rare and beautiful creatures is helpful, because I know even though I work at a nursery, I don't always know what I want. And I can sort of picture it in my head, but having some of those adjectives, some of those words, and knowing sort of how the conversation is going to go in advance can kind of help things along. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.
Well, I think that was really informative.
Yeah, it was great. And Jackie she's just so lovely to talk to. And I think, using a small local business where you really are talking to the person who's going to make the arrangement, it cuts out the middleman. It's really the best way to go, to get something you're really going to love and that the person you're sending it to will love.
Yeah, I think that if you have a little bit of a common vocabulary, you can kind of come up with something that you're really going to not be disappointed in. You're going to be very happy with. So get the most out of your order.
Exactly. So happy Valentine's Day to all of our many, many subscribers. And we'll see you next time on New Digs.
Bye.
Bye.